The necklace that unveiled a lifetime of secrets. A daughter, a lost wife, and a businessman's quest for the truth. Suddenly, he sees she's wearing the necklace of his late wife. But how could that be? Before diving into this incredible story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more gripping stories like this one. Ethan sat in his office, deep in financial reports, when his phone buzzed. It was human resources, reminding him of his upcoming meeting with Sophie. Today was the day he'd been dreading since the start of the company's restructuring. Sophie had been a loyal, hardworking employee for years, and the decision to let her go had weighed heavily on him. But with the economic downturn, the company had no choice but to make tough cuts. When Sophie walked into his office, he could see the concern in her eyes. Ethan felt a pang of guilt but forced himself to stay professional. He took a deep breath. "Sophie, please, take a seat. I won't pretend this is easy for either of us," he began, his voice steady but solemn. "The company has had to make significant changes, and unfortunately, your position was affected." Sophie looked down for a moment, sadness evident in her eyes, then nodded with resignation. "I understand, Mr. Ethan. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity." Her voice wavered as she spoke, and as she looked up, something caught his eye. A delicate necklace hung around Sophie's neck. A necklace Ethan recognized instantly. It was the exact necklace he'd given his late wife, Anna, many years ago. His heart raced. "Sophie, forgive me, but that necklace you're wearing, where did you get it?" Ethan asked, his eyes fixed on the pendant. Sophie's hand went instinctively to the necklace, and she touched it with a look of fondness. "Oh, this? My adoptive mother gave it to me. She always said it was special, though she never explained where it came from," she replied, a bit puzzled by Ethan's intensity. Ethan's stomach churned. The resemblance was uncanny. His wife had cherished that very necklace. Could this be the same one? "So, your adoptive mother gave it to you?" Ethan repeated, his mind whirling. "She never mentioned where it was from?" "No, she never said much about its history," Sophie replied, noticing Ethan's growing curiosity. Leaning back in his chair, Ethan tried to process this strange connection. That necklace had been a special gift he'd given to Anna on their first wedding anniversary. How could it possibly be here, around Sophie's neck? "Sophie," Ethan began cautiously, "I know this might sound strange, but that necklace belonged to my wife, Anna. I gave it to her many years ago." Sophie's mouth fell open as she struggled to process what he was saying. "Mr. Ethan, I had no idea. My adoptive mother gave it to me when I was young and told me it was precious to her, but she never said anything about its origin." Ethan stared at Sophie with a mix of shock and fascination. Could there be more to this story than he ever knew? "I need to look into this, Sophie," he said, trying not to sound intrusive. "Would you mind if I asked a few questions about your adoptive mother and her past?" Sophie, still in disbelief, nodded slowly. "Of course. I'll help however I can, though I know very little about my life before she adopted me. My mother has always been quite private about that." Ethan's mind raced. If this necklace had somehow connected his late wife to Sophie, there had to be a reason. "Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate your willingness to help," he said gently. "And please, if you ever need a recommendation or support, don't hesitate to reach out." Sophie stood up, shook his hand, and thanked him before leaving. Ethan remained seated, staring blankly at his desk, consumed by memories of Anna. The mystery of the necklace haunted him, filling him with a strange mix of loss, curiosity, and a flicker of hope. Days passed, but Ethan couldn't shake the thought of the necklace and the uncanny connection it seemed to create between Sophie and Anna. Determined, he began searching through old photos, letters, and Anna's journals for any clue that could unravel the mystery. He found countless mementos from their life together, but nothing that pointed directly to Sophie. Late one night, flipping through a stack of old photo albums, he stumbled upon an image of Anna wearing the necklace, dated from a few months before they'd met. It was a time of her life he knew little about, and he couldn't help but wonder if Anna had kept secrets from him. Ethan realized he needed to speak with Anna's friends and family, hoping someone could shed light on this hidden chapter of her life. Meanwhile, Sophie couldn't shake the revelation. Ethan's words had left her with more questions than answers. She, too, was determined to discover the truth behind the necklace. Contacting her adoptive mother, Sophie sought answers, hoping for clarity. "Mom, please. I need to know more about this necklace." "Where did you get it?" she asked, her voice tinged with urgency. Her mother, Teresa, was evasive, her tone uncomfortable. "Sophie, I've told you everything I know. It's a necklace I've had for a long time. I thought it would mean something to you," she replied, visibly uneasy. "But, Mom, Mr. Ethan says it belonged to his wife." "How could that be?" Sophie pressed. Teresa's expression shifted, her discomfort deepening. "I don't know, sweetheart. Some things from the past are best left there," she said, effectively ending the conversation. Sophie sensed her mother was hiding something but decided not to push further. She realized that, to get the answers she needed, she'd have to search beyond her mother's guarded words. Unbeknownst to each other, Ethan and Sophie embarked on parallel journeys to uncover the truth. For Ethan, it was a quest to honor Anna's memory and understand her connection to Sophie. For Sophie, it was a pursuit of her own identity and the enigma of the necklace she'd cherished her entire life. Driven by memories and bound by the mystery of the necklace, both were on paths that would inevitably converge, leading to truths they could never have anticipated. Determined to uncover the truth, Sophie picked up her phone and dialed Teresa. "Mom, can you tell me more about the necklace you gave me?" Her voice carried a mixture of hope and anxiety. Teresa hesitated. "Sweetheart, I don't know much. All I know is that it belonged to someone very special, someone who asked me to keep it safe for you." Her tone was thoughtful, but something about it felt incomplete. Thanking her mother, Sophie realized her search would have to go beyond Teresa's memories. She turned to the sparse documents she had on her adoption, hoping to find any connections to her past. After hours of searching, a name finally caught her eye: a small orphanage in a neighboring town, linked to a woman named Anna. Sophie's heart raced. Could Anna be her biological mother? At the same time, Ethan's investigation had led him to a similar clue. After days of consulting with Anna's old friends, he discovered that the same orphanage might hold answers to questions he never even knew he had. Driven by an overwhelming need for closure, Ethan arranged a visit to the orphanage. As he arrived, he felt an eerie sense of familiarity. The faded walls and quiet hallways seemed to hold echoes of stories long buried. Inside, he was greeted by Sister Beatrice, an elderly nun whose kind eyes showed curiosity as he mentioned Anna and the necklace. "Good day, sister. I'm here seeking information about my late wife, Anna. I believe she may have had a connection to this place," Ethan said, trying to stay composed. Sister Beatrice nodded, gesturing for him to sit in the small, warmly lit waiting room. "Please, let me see what I can find in our records," she said, vanishing down a corridor. As he waited, memories of Anna's laughter, her radiant spirit, and the necklace she'd once cherished flooded his mind. He was desperate to understand how this treasured piece had ended up with Sophie. Finally, Sister Beatrice returned, holding a dusty ledger. "Here, Mr. Ethan. I found some entries mentioning a woman named Anna and a baby girl who was placed for adoption many years ago." With trembling hands, Ethan flipped through the fragile pages until he found it: Anna's name, alongside the note of a daughter given up at birth. His heart pounded as he processed the revelation. "Thank you, sister. This is more than I ever expected to find," he said, gratitude thick in his voice. "May you find the answers you seek, Mr. Ethan." "God bless you on your journey," she replied with a warm smile. At that same moment, Sophie, filled with questions about her past, had decided to visit the orphanage herself. She arrived just as Ethan was leaving, though neither saw the other. Led to the archives by Sister Beatrice, Sophie felt her nerves intensify. "I'm looking for information about my biological mother. All I know is that she once owned a necklace that my adoptive mother later gave me," Sophie explained, her voice filled with hope and anxiety. Sister Beatrice, surprised by the familiarity of the request, nodded. "In fact, a man was here just moments ago seeking similar information," she said, handing Sophie the same record book. Heart racing, Sophie flipped through the pages and found the entry describing Anna and the child she'd given up for adoption. As her eyes absorbed the words, she felt an overwhelming rush of emotions. Could Anna truly be her biological mother? Before she could fully process this, a familiar voice broke the silence. Sophie, what are you doing here? Ethan's voice was filled with shock and confusion. Sophie looked up from the book, her eyes wide with surprise. I'm searching for my birth mother. It looks like you're doing the same, she replied, her voice trembling with the weight of revelation. Ethan stepped closer, his face as stunned as hers. Yes, I found something about Anna and a daughter she gave up for adoption. Sophie, could it really be? Sophie instinctively touched the necklace at her chest, its presence now carrying an even deeper meaning. I don't know, Ethan, but it looks like we need to find out together. Ethan nodded solemnly. You're right. We need to face this mystery together. Side by side, they began sifting through the orphanage's archives, with Sister Beatrice by their side. Each page brought them closer to understanding Anna's story and the secrets she had carried. Among the records, they discovered old letters, faded photographs, and adoption documents that started to form a clearer picture. Between the worn pages, they learned that Anna had kept a profound secret before meeting Ethan, a relationship that had brought a child into the world. This child had been placed for adoption, a chapter Anna had never revealed. The truth was both shocking and bittersweet. Ethan looked at Sophie, his eyes misted with emotion. This can't be real, he whispered, his voice choked. Sophie, overwhelmed by the weight of the revelation, felt her hands tremble. So, Anna, she was my mother? Ethan nodded, his own emotions raw. It appears so. But why would she keep this from me? Hours of searching later, they stumbled upon a record bearing the name Teresa, the woman who had adopted Sophie. At that moment, all the scattered pieces fell into place. Ethan, Teresa, my adoptive mother, she must know more about this, Sophie said, her determination shining through. Ethan nodded, resolute. We need to speak with her. Let's find out the full truth. The drive back was silent, each of them lost in thought. When they arrived at Teresa's house, Sophie took a deep breath before knocking. Teresa, a kind-faced woman with eyes full of worry, opened the door, surprised to see both of them together. Sophie, what brings you here? She asked, her voice tinged with concern. Sophie stepped forward. We need to talk, Mum. It's about the necklace and my birth mother, she said, her tone unwavering. Teresa led them to the cozy living room, her face revealing a blend of emotions. I suppose it's time you both knew the truth, she murmured, taking a deep breath. Ethan and Sophie listened intently as Teresa recounted her memories of Anna. Teresa had been a close friend to Anna, and when Anna had to make the heartbreaking decision to place her daughter for adoption, she had asked Teresa to take care of her child. Anna was your birth mother, Sophie, Teresa said gently, emotions softening her voice. She and I were dear friends. When she realized she couldn't care for you, she asked me to be the mother you needed. She wanted you to have a safe and loving home. Ethan, struggling to contain his feelings, interrupted, but why didn't she tell me? Why did she keep this secret? Teresa looked at him with empathy. Anna had her reasons. She believed that if she told you, it would complicate everything. She loved you deeply, Ethan, and didn't want anything to risk the life you'd built together. Sophie, trying to process it all, asked, and the necklace? How did it come to me? Teresa smiled, a glimmer of love in her eyes. That was Anna's gift to you. She wanted you to have a piece of her with you, even if she couldn't be there herself. The necklace was a symbol of her love. With tears in her eyes, Sophie reached for Teresa's hand, grateful for her mother's honesty. Thank you for telling me the truth, Mum. It means the world to me to finally know. Ethan added softly, Thank you, Teresa. Knowing this brings a kind of peace I didn't expect. Teresa nodded, her voice full of emotion. I'm glad I could help. Anna was an incredible woman, and I know she would be proud of both of you. Ethan looked at Sophie with a new understanding. Sophie, this makes you family. I never thought I'd say this, but you're my stepdaughter. Sophie gave him a soft smile. And you're my, she hesitated, searching for the right word. My family too, Ethan. A deep bond had formed, one born from shared pain, but also from a profound sense of connection.